Hey, good day. This is Kathleen, and I just wanted to hop on here. If you haven't ever seen me or you're new to me, go ahead and if you like this video, like and share and subscribe. That would be great. I appreciate your support. It has been a 2 year, literally 2 years today, that I was drug into the family court system for the third time. I've been divorced for over 15 years, about 17 years now. And it was my third time back in. I didn't have the money to afford an attorney, very thankfully for that. My ex has a lot of money, as he brags on transcripts about. And so it was all about a lot of injustice. And you would think, that long, why would I still be brought into court? It's a very good question. But the more important part is that family court is really supposed to be about fairness and justice and protecting the families and our rights. Oh, wait a minute. Remember, we have no rights until we claim them and until we invoke them. And I have repeatedly and been ignored. So this is scary for everyone across the globe. When the justice system, especially the family court, because that's the heartbeat of America, the heart of America is the family, and the injustice and the corruption that is going on, it has to end. And this is how we end it, by sharing our experiences, by disclosing what's going on and calling them out and putting the pressure on them publicly to come out and do what is right and stop protecting each other. The bar is out of control. And the ABA, if you want to call it, all of those attorneys that swear oaths to each other are swearing oaths to each other, and they're protecting each other, and they are not working or for us or for our freedom or for our rights. And it is point blank obvious, and it must stop. So what happens when the system ignores private agreements? We're going to talk about private agreements. I'm not going to go into it a great deal, but huge matter. The Bar Association, can you get a copy of their list? No, because it's private. And just like when COVID was big and you saw the country clubs and everybody didn't have their masks on and people were like, hey, how come they don't have to have a mask on? Because they're in a private community. They're in a private club. That's why. When you and I have the ability to act and do whatever we want in the private, so long as we are not harming anyone, all day long, if we agree to harm each other, that's between us. That is an agreement between us. And if it's in writing and it's clear, then so be it. It's very important. There's protections. Without having the ability to act, live, and operate and self-govern, then we are already a communist country. And that, my friends, we can't allow. So we must stand up. So private agreements, equity, and even the Constitution, in my case, have been 100% trafficked, ignored, and put to the side. So here's what's happening is a man and a woman came together long time ago, about 17 years ago, and they entered into a private contract, a private agreement. It states that it deviates from statutory, but a real contract, it is autographed. And then it's signed, and then like 9 months later, we co-file, not one against the other, not man against woman or woman against man. We co-file jointly in Chancery. Chancery is another name for equity. So Chancery Court is facts and evidence. It's a different type. It is not civil and it is not statutory. This is very important. When you're operating in the private, all your agreements need to be divine law, of natural law. Natural law is defined in the Black Law Dictionary as well as other places. So it is legit, and equity is based on divine and natural law. It's got the maximums of law. So a man and woman go, sign a private agreement, autograph it, and co-file in Chancery like 9 months later. And that is the proper equity court that enforces private agreements. It enforces trust agreements. So, but when all of a sudden a couple of years later, It got pulled in. This was in Mississippi. So you're going across state lines. And then it was pulled into Illinois trial court, statutory court. And it was misclassified by the attorneys who colluded with perhaps, I don't know, maybe a judge, and tried to, like, the title's right there on the contract, but let's ignore that, and tried to make it a marital settlement agreement. Those are called MSA. So if I say MSA, marital settlement agreement. So the judge completely disregards the private agreement, minor detail. It's protected by Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1 of the United States Constitution. So out the door with the Constitution. Yeah, disregard that, baby. Oh, wait a minute. But the bar is protected by that. Kind of could be icy territory. Anyway, totally disregards the private contract, imposes statutory BS rules and regulations or whatever they are. I don't even know. They're unjust as can be. And goes in and rewrites the terms of the private agreement. Adds on college, redefines statutory or support, decides to just completely ignore the private agreement on attorney fees and impose those, and orders all kinds of stuff. So the obligations that were agreed to, out the door, doesn't matter. This is huge. This is a true violation of all of our rights across the board to act and govern in the private. A lot of people are entering into private membership agreements, private member agreements, and rightfully under 508, they can. And I teach that. And this is extremely important because in those private agreements, many start quoting things that they shouldn't, like, we won't get into that. Anyway, you want to be very clear that you have self-governance in that PMA. If your PMA is missing, private member agreement is missing its self-governance, this is why you want to make sure that it's in there. I do that for mine. So why this matters is because the U.S. Constitution, as I mentioned, Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. Now, that states that a state like Illinois, say, cannot, not maybe if they feel like it cannot impair private contracts, cannot. Contracts are supposed to mean something. If a courts can rewrite those agreements, then no one and no deal is safe. This is huge. So it isn't just the contract here. Okay, jurisdiction was never established and consistently questioned by consistently, and ignored. I have it, move on. I have it, move on. I have that on record in transcripts. Get yourself a court reporter. So under this UCC JEA, Universal Commercial Code, so most people will think UCC means, Universal Commercial Code is what most think UCC is. This is Uniform Child Custody, jurisdiction, and something. I forgot right now. I don't have it written down. Anyway, UCC JEA. States cannot just grab the authority out of a family case across state lines without a formal transfer. Yet it happened in my case. So that just violates jurisdiction right there. Not only did they go across state lines and not establish that, they change. Remember, I said we co-filed in Chancery. That's equity. And then they brought it into statutory. There's no rhyme or reason. They change a private agreement into an MSA. This is like hijacking, okay? The judge completely ignores unrebutted affidavits. And misspeaks, I'm sure it was just an error, misspeaks on transcripts and says that they don't just have 21 days after an affidavit to rebut it. No, they can do it at trial. Yet they don't rebut it at trial. So even though she misspoke, they don't rebut the affidavits at trial, and the judge ignores it See, if you know anything about maxims of law, an affidavit stands as truth in law, and silence is consent. When silence can and should be given, silence is the choice, then silence is acceptance. Those are maxims of law. And I have a book on that, a PDF on that. So unrebutted affidavits, jurisdictions ignored, out the window, cross state lines, everything. Illinois says that if you, an affidavit, Illinois law says if you don't deny an affidavit, it's admitted as truth. It's a violation of due process. This is a huge matter. It's due process. Then there is this ability to pay. So one spouse or one man, the agreement, or woman makes lots of money and claims it on transcripts, and while the other one says, laid off work, undue hardship, living off a credit. Okay. So you got two disparities right here, right? And then that's completely ignored. There's ability to pay hearing that's supposed to take place, does not take place. Judge ignores that too. I mean, my goodness. Minor detail. The other party might be an attorney. So they're all in the club. Remember the club, the bar, the ABA? They're all in the club together. They're all acting and protecting, and they have an oath to each other. Not to us, to each other. What's their oath to? I don't know. I can't get it because it's covered by a private agreement. It's covered by a private member agreement. So I haven't been able to see their oath. But hey, I mean, maybe it's on the table now. I mean, apparently private agreements are nothing, right? Constitution's being ignored. And then the judge herself on transcripts admits a couple things here. And this is key because she's kind of confused. So she admits that she doesn't know what oath applies to her job. Refuses to recite it because apparently she doesn't know which one. I mean, is it the one she took in college for the sorority? Is it the one she took for the bar? Is it the one she took to state? Or who knows how many oaths this woman's got? I certainly don't know. But she doesn't even know which one applies to her job. That's kind of major. Oh, and then another detail is she signed her oath in 23, failed to file it until 24. Minor detail. So technically, from what, if you look up oath and everything, technically everything in that gap is null and void. My case started during that period, during that gap. I'm just saying, these are things that are being ignored as if, oh, well, we decided to ignore them for you. That's wonderful. She admits under oath that she literally says, when I quote a maximum like affidavits unrebutted, stand as truth in law. She goes, what's a maximum? I can show you the transcripts. What's a maximum is what the judge asks. She doesn't even know. Now, in Illinois and those states that don't have chancery or equity courts per se, every court has the ability to be equity, and there are two always to apply equity when equity is presented. Equity of a private agreement, rebutted. I rebutted pro se every single time they use pro se. I am not pro se, sui juris, alive. I'm standing here in front of you. I can hear you. You can hear me. I am not the name. It can't be claimed anymore. There's not one time I missed rebutting that. So they're completely ignoring the sui juris. So there's videos that you can find on that as well. And it's just one thing after another. This isn't just a case. It's a pattern that's going on in family courts nationwide and globally. Courts are overstepping, overreaching. They're ignoring private agreements. They're ignoring our rights. They're ignoring jurisdiction. They're ignoring their oaths as if, I took an oath. Who cares? Who's going to come after me? Another judge who probably did the same thing. Who are we going to report them to? Really? So they just sidestep the constitutional protections, ignore the Constitution that they took an oath to. But maybe the other oath that they took before that oath applies more. Maybe it trumps the other oath. I don't know. But that's some serious things that we need to be asking. We are governing them. The government has gotten out of control because we haven't done a check and balance ourselves because we got really busy trying to make money for all the debt that they help us create, right? Like all the family court, how much are you paying your attorneys? You want to talk about a racketeer, you talk about attorneys. That is mafia, in my humble opinion, by the way. So when parents try to assert their rights, they're threatened. How do I say that? I got evidence. I got evidence of being threatened for sanctions and attorney fees if I assert my rights. If you continue to assert your rights, I'm going to file sanctions and attorney fees. Oh my God, it's like I don't even have it just in emails. I have it on the record. So that's why awareness matters. Families need to know that we have rights and that when we stand together, that when we learn from each other, that we can start asserting these. Enter into a private matrimony agreement, a private divorce agreement. Put it on there. If you're getting married, if you're already married, enter into a private agreement. There is no reason for everyone in this country and worldwide not to be doing private agreements. Why would you invite the state into your marriage, into your bedroom? The state makes a number one moneymaker for the court system is family law. Number two is bankruptcy, because after you get done paying 40 grand on both of you, 80,000 between the family on the attorney fees, when they extend it and don't talk to each other, because God forbid you communicate, you might actually like be able to settle this matter, right? It's their number one money maker. Jurisdiction. Without it, it voids all their orders and it's being ignored. Affidavits. Doing an affidavit and being clear and truthful on your affidavit. I invoke the laws of nature and nature's God as stated in the Declaration of Independence. Ignored. I invoke it and claim it, yet they're ignoring it. And I also put on record, all oaths are to be on record in this matter. It's completely ignored. Due process, completely ignored. You can't be ordered to pay when you don't have the ability to pay. This is huge. And I think that there's a lot of families, moms and dads out there globally that can justify this. Why are attorneys saying you have to pay me this much? Why aren't they doing it on your ability to pay? Why isn't there a shift like, hey, they have to take so many cases? If you're a high-priced attorney, why are you not taking cases across the board? Why isn't it going on a scale of what you make? And that's what you pay, not what they say you pay. No, you get the attorneys that don't know as much, that aren't as good. Maybe they have some issues or something like that. That's not right. That's not justice. They're taking us anyway. They're taking advantage of us and they're not protecting our rights. It has to end. Family court reform starts with exposing how deep the injustice runs. And here I am showing you, and I can back it. When equity is denied, when contracts are trampled on, when the courts forget their oaths, they forget to file them, they don't put them on the record, they refuse to give it to you on record. She refused twice. I went back a third time. Then she told me to get it chief judge's office. He didn't have it. State didn't have the chief judge's recorded till after I requested his. So he hadn't even filed his. So they're all in it. I got 6 or 7 judges. All of them did the same thing. Interesting. They all signed on the same day except the chief judge, and they all filed on the same day except for the chief judge. Yeah. So all of them, that would take out 6 or 7 judges right there. As far as any order that they did is irrelevant. I've already reported it to the Department of Treasury, to the President of the United States, and to the Supreme Court Justice. It's all being ignored. It's not just one parent that's being harmed. It's all families that are being harmed. It's trust an entire system. And this system, the family court system, must collapse. If we cannot find justice in this system, then where are we? This is the heartbeat. We must support our sons and daughters. We must support each other, and we must learn to communicate. At one time, when you married someone, you liked them or loved them, right? If you can't learn to communicate, why isn't communication so promoted by these attorneys? Because it doesn't make them as much money. That's why. That's the bottom line. They're the parasites of the system. I'm sorry if you're an attorney and you're not like that. I'm not saying all of them are like that. Majority maybe, but not all of them, right? I'm saying that there are some good ones. I know some good attorneys. I really do. And I'm sure you do. So it's those that are being the parasites, that choose to be the parasites, that choose to do this. I'm going to fight for this person, and I'm going to ignore jurisdiction. I'm going to ignore the oath. I'm going to ignore the affidavits, and I'm going to support it 100%. I'm going to file a dismiss. I'm going to do this or that. Shame on them. Sorry. I know that's a low vibration, but shame on them. If you're faced with something like this, you're not alone. You are not alone. There's so many of us. So speak up. Share your story. Come on to my Telegram group. I have the Game of Life 101 website. It's got my Telegram group. I'm not as active on Facebook, but you can get me there. And Telegram is my big one. Join there. Share your story. Speak up. Demand to have a private contract. Get the state, divorce the state. Get the state out. You're getting along in your marriage? Great. Divorce the state, get the state out, and do a private matrimony agreement, file it in Chancery or equity, and state that this is equity jurisdiction only, always facts and evidence. And know your constitutional protections are under, or supposedly under, Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1, because all families deserve justice, not court-made injustice, not statutory hell, and not statutory BS. It's time to end all of this. So this is a movement. I'm going to be starting some more things. I have some things in the works about starting how to stand up to this and having a monthly membership and everything like that. But if you found this valuable, if you know somebody that would benefit from hearing this, do them a solid, share this, and like and subscribe. I would love to have you subscribe. So thanks so much for your time. Until next time, roll the dice and play the game of life.